Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, you are here with me today. We are going to go over this, is going to be a season 1 review of the Amazon Prime series Cross. Uh, Little housekeeping, please hit that like button. Please share this video if you care. Also, subscribe. And once you subscribe, you will open to a plethora of videos uh, where I have done movie reviews, television series reviews, and pop culture chats. So let's get into this. I want to make this as uh, well, I don't know how short and sweet it's going to be because we're going to be reviewing the whole season. So if you're not familiar, this is Cross. And let me go ahead and add to the stage, add this information in. You know, I love a good PowerPoint when I can get a good PowerPoint going. So this is Amazon Cross is an Amazon Prime TV series. Now, if you're familiar with this, Alex Cross and Cross, you remember Tyler Perry a few years back, maybe 8 or 9 years ago. He did a movie on Alex Cross. It was all right. So I am familiar with that from there. So Amazon Prime decided that they were going to invest in this series as well. So the creator for the TV series for Amazon Prime is Ben Watkins, and it's based on the novels written by James Patterson. Now, it's my understanding as I looked through Wikipedia and was counting, it looks like there is at least 34 novels or 34 stories in regards to Alex Cross. So for me, that's hopeful for this series because it has been renewed for a second season. So this is hopeful that there's a lot of source material in regards to Alex Cross. So I'm very excited about that. And again, the creator for the TV was Ben Watkins. They've got writers for the show, and I think this is Blaze Ali Watkins, Ron McCants, Jane Patterson, and Ben Watkins. So they're going to be the ones that are going to be that are the writers for this show. So we're gonna let me see. They're gonna be the writers for the show. We're gonna go over the series now. There's no way that I can hit every episode. I'm not going to do every episode because of the fact I really wish that Amazon would have dropped this um a couple of episodes a week and it would have been easier for me to do this. But you know, once I've binge watched it, once I've watched it, because I've binge watched it, I think 1.5 times so far. And once I've binge watched it, it's hard for me to go back and try to do those things. So since it's been um dropped, and I'm hoping for next season that they do take heed and drop it a couple of episodes per week or an episode per week. I hope that they would do that, and it would, for me, that would be a great thing. So let me just be very clear. This is a spoiler-ish review. So I will be spoiling some information, whether it be the names of the characters, some certain types of things and stuff like that. I'm not going to spoil the show for you because I really do want you to watch this show, but it is spoiler-ish. So there's be some things that I'm going to talk about in regards to the show. So if you do not want to be, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, if you don't want to hear anything about the show, uh, uh, or anything like that, I'm going to give you some time to log off. So here's your time right now to log off. All right, let's go. So season 1 has 8 episodes. The episodes are Hero Complex, Ride the White Horsey, The Good Book, Masks, What Happened at Ramsey's, A Bang, Not a Whimper, Happy Birthday, and You Had Me at Mother Effort. Okay. So these are the episodes. So we're just going to kind of go over briefly about some of the things that are going on, briefly about some of the episodes, the things that I like, the things that I dislike. I do have this little PowerPoint that I'm going to be going over. so that we can kind of keep track, because again, 8 episodes and information about the episodes, it's a lot. So we have the synopsis of the shows. Alex Cross is a decorated DC homicide detective and forensic psychologist, faces a sadistic serial killer. Alex and his partner John Sampson track this killer, and a threat from Cross's past appears with ill intent. Now, this is the synopsis coming from Rotten Tomatoes. Now, listen, it's a whole lot of stuff going on here. Now, when I say that there's a whole lot of stuff going on here in this episode, there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. I do want to go over really, really quickly that there is just some ratings and things like that. One of the things I want to be able to show that people really have been enjoying this. You see, IMDb gave it a rating of 7.2 stars out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it 76%, while the audience gave it 67%. On Metacritic, the critics reviewed it at 62%. And the users who were on Metacritic, it was at a 4.0. So this is a show that I think overall people are gravitating to. Again, I really wish that they had metered the episodes coming out, because again, I think that that would have more interest in this episode would have been done, just like they did for, I think, Invincible the first season. You know, they doled it out 1 episode per season, and so everyone was able to be engaged with Invincible. And I'm hoping that next season they will take to do that, because it keeps people engaged, having to come back every week and talk about this episode. And as a reviewer, I would love, love, love that. Just as you all are entering in, please hit that like button. That helps with my engagement, and I do appreciate it. I truly, truly do. So let's talk about real, let's talk about some of these characters in here. And I wanted to go over really quickly who is going to be in this show. So we have some characters. So we have Alex Cross. He is the main character. He is played by Aldous Hodge. And if you're familiar with Aldous Hodge, he has played on several different television shows that I remember. Let me pull up my information. He played more recently in One Night in Miami. He was Hawkeye in Black Adam. He played the first time that I remember seeing him was on Leverage. That was a show on, I want to say, USA. Y'all let me know. He played in Hidden Figures. He's also played in The Invisible Man. So he has been on our screens for a very long time. And I know that he's been in different movies, but I remember him more so in television than I do remember him in movies. John Sampson, which is played by Isaiah Mustafa. Now, if you're familiar with him, he is the Old Spice guy. The Old Spice guy from the Old Spice commercials. He is that young man. There are other actors and things like that, but I do want to just talk about really quickly about the different characters in the show. Just trying to get you all to see who these people are. So we have Alex Cross, John Sampson, Nana Mom, Damian and Janelle Cross. We've got Ed Ramsey, Bobby Trey, Shannon Whitmer, and Malika Godspeed. And these are the characters that I wanted to kind of go over with you all, to just let you know where we are. So as the synopsis said, that there was a serial killer who is what serial killers do. They are dispatching and unaliving folks. Now, particularly this particular serial killer, his name is Ed Ramsey. Now, one thing I do like about this show is that they gave us a good information about the characters. With Ed Ramsey, I did like the fact that we were able to see who the serial killer was, and that the other characters, we as the audience saw who the serial killer was, but the members in the characters in there didn't know who it was at first. And to see some of the progression about this serial killer and what his motivations and things were. I did appreciate that. Let's get back to Alex Cross. I did appreciate that we see a black man on TV. He is flawed, but yet deep down in his core, he is a good and decent man. He is dealing with a lot of stuff that's going on with him, with his wife being killed. He's also dealing with the fact that, his parents, I know that there was some drug use, and I know his parents were killed, and he was raised by his grandmother, who is Nana Mom. This man has a great moral compass. He is, he's a police officer. He's doing all the things that he needs to do to be a good police officer. He is an educated black man. He has a PhD in psychology, in forensic psychology. So he is able to use that degree as a police officer. So I do enjoy the fact that we see this man and his character, how it's developed. He's a grieving man. He's a grieving widower. His wife was killed. She was killed in a very violent way. And he's still trying to deal with that. Uh, John Sampson, who is his friend and who is his partner. Y'all, I do enjoy the relationship between those two. And let me just move down through my, we're going to talk about our pros, but I do want to talk about this as we go. I do like the relationship between Alex and John. I like the fact that they're best friends. I like the fact that they are partners, and I like the fact that they know how to um, work off each other. And one of the things I do like about this show, in regards to John Sampson and his character, is he's not a sidekick. He is a very capable a detective. He has his own ways of doing things. Alex Cross has his ways of detecting and doing stuff like that. John Sampson has his ways of getting and gathering information, and the two of them work well, and the two of them respect each other and how they work. There was incidents in this episode where there was information that Alex didn't have, but John, with his connections and the things that he can do, he was able to get that information. Alex has his way of analyzing information and then pulling hypotheses and things like that up. So, and John respects that. So these two have a good respect. Now they knock heads and stuff like that, but I do like the fact that even though that they are knocking heads, they do get together and they do have each other's back. And I really do love the fact that we see some black male friendships that are positive, that are not based on anything other than friendship. I will tell you, Nana Mama's role, she is the grandmother. Enjoyed her role as the linchpin of the family. She is going to make sure that this family continues to move and grow as a family. Now, she does bump heads with Alex because she wants him to understand that even though that you're grieving, you are still a father, and the way that you're grieving and the way that you're putting things out is affecting your children. Now, I will say this about the two children. uh what's their names? Hold on, y'all. I think it's Damien and Janelle. I think that's the name of the children. Let's go back to the last slide. Damon and Janelle. These two actors, I enjoyed their childlike thing, because sometimes when you see child actors, they kind of overact, or they're doing too much. They didn't do anything. The actress that plays Janelle, I love the fact that she played a very innocent type child. Things were going around. She doesn't understand what's going on, but she does understand that her dad's sad because their mother is gone, and she's not acting like a mom, but she does recognize that there's some stuff going on. And again, going back to Nana Mom, I do like the fact that she keeps her in that child role. She doesn't allow for her to try to become the quote unquote quasi mom. I do like the fact that Damien is. each child is dealing with their mother's death in their own way. And I do like to see how they're expressing how they're dealing with that death. And I do like how Nana Mom is getting Alex to understand and to see that he does need to pay attention to his children, just understand that the way he is grieving and the way that he is icing people out is causing his children to act in a certain way. So I did like to see that. I did like those character developments in those children. I thought that the music, these are my pros. I did like the music in this series. I thought that the music was dope. I did. I like to hear Chaka Khan and Rick Ross and all those things, and each thing to me was perfect in the setting. I also like seeing all the historical landmarks. I like seeing the different things. We saw the Capitol. We saw the Washington Monument. We saw all other things. We saw Ben's Chili Bowl, and I understand that that is a staple within the African American community, the Black community in Washington D.C. So I did like how those things were characters within the show within itself. I like that there was a main plot and a subplot. I like the fact that the main plot was a serial killer, and I also like the subplot was the death of his wife, and that there's somebody trying to let him know, or he's trying to find who killed his wife. And I like that they didn't cross over, but they both were high stakes. So it kept me engaged, because this show kept me engaged, because usually shows have to build up. And for this particular show, I was intrigued at the beginning, because at first I thought that the serial killer had killed his wife, but then I realized pretty soon, I think pretty much going into the second episode, that those were two separate incidents, and that he is going to have to, and how Alex is having to navigate through those two separate incidents. So I really appreciated that thing about the show. Uh, I did like seeing relationships of Black men and Black women, Alex and Elle, on the screen, and it being positive. Because a lot of times when we watch TV, you'll see a Black male lead, but he'll have a white woman as his partner, or we'll see a Black woman lead, and either she doesn't have a partner or she's partnered with a white male. So I am glad to see within this show that there was a Black man and a Black woman, and they were partnering and navigating a relationship, particularly, after he is a widower and after he has lost a wife, and have them uh work on their relationship, and it be positive, and then the ups and downs of going on with that relationship. So I was I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that immensely. And I hope that they continue. I hope that this young lady who plays Elle, Samantha Waltz, I hope she's on here next season, and she's still in a relationship with him, because I don't want it to be a one and done thing. I hope that his family, his relationships, his partnerships, I hope that those play prominent roles within the next season. So shout out to them for having a second season. So I wanted to go over some of the things that I didn't, some of the things that I didn't like about this show. Uh, some of the episodes, particularly episode 4 and episode 8, it was just slow, or it was just like, to me, why? Particularly with episode 8, I think that, honestly, I think that some of the stuff that they had in, which episode was that? Let me go back real quick. Here we go. I think episode 2, for some reason, uh dragged for me. I think a lot of that stuff, they could have cut half of that stuff out in episode 2, and then they could have cut half of that stuff out of episodes 8 and moved them into different episodes and just had 7 episodes. And the way that the episode ended on the 7th episode, I think that they could have done that. That's just me. I just think that I don't know what that episode 8, I don't know, it just, something about it just didn't really sit right with me. It was fine, but I really wish that I would have seen there would have been some meat. I think with the it took too long for me. Now, again, we're talking about a serial killer who is killing people who was unaliving people in this series. And there was one particular incident where a the girlfriend of one of the victims of the serial killer, there was an incident where she had his cell phone, and I just thought it just took that whole thing just took too long. It took them too long to realize that she took the cell phone. They're running around looking for the cell phone. Nobody looked at the footage and saw. Only Alex could look at that footage and see that she took the cell phone. And then from the time she took the cell phone until they found out where she was staying, when Alex and John got to the thing, because she was being held by Bobby Trey. Now he, again, this is spoiler-ish. Now Bobby Trey was working with the serial killer, so she's being held by him in her room. And to me, it just took too long for Alex and John to get to that room. Why are you doing all this other stuff when all you had to do was go up the steps and go to the room? And they left too much time for her to be unalived, which I thought just took too long. Um, that's one of the things I didn't like about that. The police politics of it all. Because when this series started, everybody was wanting, because again, um, Emir Godspeed, who was the initial victim that we saw as this show opened, he was a Black Lives Matter activist, and he was unalived. And the police politics of it all, they were trying to make it seem like because he had been unalived by a drug overdose, that's what this all was, and they didn't want to do anything because again, the police chief was worried about the city rioting and everything like that, and that was her only focus instead of actually looking and going in and understanding what was going on. Now, that was one of the things that I had issues with, and I did like the way um, Alex Cross and John Sampson had the relationship to be able to talk to her about, hey, you're coming from a whole different perspective. This is the perspective that we're coming from in regards to this is a young man who's changed his life. His life is coming. You're looking at him as a menace to society, but you're not looking at the redemption part of it and how he has changed his life and he's doing good and how he's loved by his community. You're only looking at that one particular part of that bad behavior. And so they were having to explain to the police chief what was going on. But she still didn't hear anything about it. Again, it's all politics because we do find out that she wants to run for mayor. So it's a whole lot of those types of politics and things like that. Now, again, this is spoiler-ish. One of the things that I did not understand is that you had the serial killer apparently was the leader of some kind of movement. I'm going to say some kind of cult or something like that. And it wasn't exposed. We didn't hear more information about it earlier on as we went through those 8 episodes, which it could have been. We saw that the members had a tattoo, but I don't remember anywhere in there that Alex Cross, John, or any of the people who were investigating talk about these tattoos or talk about the tattoos looking similar to things. Those were just cues for the audience, but it wasn't cues for the characters themselves. And I thought that was just a wasted opportunity. I think that again, instead of spending 20 minutes trying to get to Emir's Godspeed's girlfriend in the hotel, there could have been a couple of minutes of talking about these them remembering Alex, because he remembers all these things and he puts all these things together. I was surprised that the tattoos weren't as prevalent in this series. And lastly, my con, when we're talking about Bobby Trey's character, I did not understand his character. I did not understand how he went from a police officer to a henchman to a serial killer. There was no information given. It wasn't any information like he was released as a cop or anything like that. His character seemed to be a little bit unhinged, but I did not know why he was unhinged. They didn't really go through that with any kind of depth. They didn't even touch on it. We just learned later that he was he used to be a cop. He's a civilian. He gave me almost like a Private Eye kind of vibe, but again, I couldn't figure out what that was. It just was, he was just this henchman for this serial killer, and he was able to get all of this money. um I didn't know. We find out that the serial killer Ed Ramsey had information on a lot of different people, but I don't know what information that he had on him. Was he a bad cop, rogue cop? Did he do something? I just don't remember seeing anything about that in that series about him. So it's something about that irked me. Don't know if he's gonna come back. I know at the end he uh kind of copped a plea or something like that. But I don't know if he's going to come back. But his character wasn't fleshed out enough for me to figure any of those things out. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Overall, I liked the series. I'll give it about 8 out of 10. I liked it. My favorite episodes was Hero Complex episode 1, um, episode 5, and episode 7. In episode 7, we were able to get information as to who was the person that killed his wife, and we kind of got a resolution about what happened with that. So that storyline is again over. The serial killer storyline is over. My least favorite episode, just letting y'all know, excuse me, was The Good Book, episode 3. Again, I just felt like that episode was running too long in regards to trying to figure out uh um who them getting to Mr. Godspeed's girlfriend. And also again, because also in this episode the serial killer was holding someone hostage, and all those different steps that they had to be able to get to this particular thing, and it just seemed like it dragged too long. Or it's something I would have rather that they wouldn't have found out something to the next day and that they were a day behind. But to see them literally be that close, and then minutes, and then they just missed them by seconds or something like that, that bothered me. But what did y'all think? Did y'all enjoy this series? I enjoyed it. And I like I said, they have been greenlit for a season 2. And as I said earlier, they have there are like what, 34 different books or stories about Alex Cross. So they have a plethora of information to go through to be able to get a more compelling, get some more stories. So I'm hoping, again, one of the things that I hope to look for this second season is, number one, that Amazon decide to just give it to us weekly intervals. I hope we do that, because that way we can have more engagement about this story. The second thing I want to be able to see is, again, more character development with Alex and his relationship with his partner, also with his relationship with Elle. I hope this is not a one and done in regards to their relationship. Also, what I'd like to again see is they've got 34 stories. I hope that they're pulling some stuff out and they keep um how do I want to say it? I just hope that they will pull from information and make these stories and these things compelling. Also, I'm hoping to see that Nana Mom and all these things. I don't want him to lose anybody within his immediate circle. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that his immediate circle stays together for at least this next season. And if something else happens, and something else happens, but I do want to see his immediate circle to continue to stay together. So that's just my spoiler-ish review. I enjoyed this series. I would recommend you going to see this series. Like I said, I give this series about 8 out of 10. I think if they can continue with what they've been doing, I think that they would have so much success. Y'all let me know down in the comments what you all think. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I know I've been out of pocket for a few weeks, but again, you can still hear my voice. We're slowly coming back from my illness, and I, we just gonna do what we got to do. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Y'all, we finna get up out of here. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.